Ladies and gentlemen, tonight you're hearing the rather aesthetic and lo-fi beats of Stomp's playlist. Stomp's playlist providing you copyright-free music for your enjoyment and for something to chill with. Folks, we're at the midpoint of November. November, always one of those interesting months. It's just a little past Halloween, and it's not quite there at Christmas. And then there's going to be Thanksgiving, where you're grateful for what you have, who you have, and just being that little bit more humble. And then act like a hooligan at the sales on Black Friday the next day, trampling all over people just to get over the brand new TV. And it's just like...
or PS5 or Xbox One Series X.
I will take the PS5, please, Jimmy.
I'm reminded of that...
For some reason...
Go on.
Oh, sorry.
Go on.
And for some reason in our store, vacuum cleaners.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot of loaded questions there.
See, whenever someone, mentions of like crazy Black Friday sales, I'm reminded of that scene from The Simpsons where people are trampling over Moe and he goes, why would you wear cleats to a store?
I mean, yeah. And then of course when Apu's like at the Quickie Mart, he's all like, there are plenty of time. So like, you all have your chance to be gouged.
Sean Retro goes, second lockdown, mate. Sean goes, something crazy. Don't mind if I do. I'm gonna go watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians with Lydia, and we're gonna watch it until the sunrise. Lydia's like, no, we are not. No, we are not.
No. Like, how about no?
Okay, fine. We'll go sit down with Raiden and watch only watching TNA reviews for 3 years straight.
Listen. I need half and half. I need comedy. That's saying too much.
Okay, fine. We'll all go sit down and watch Elman have a very painful, happy face watching 5 years of TNA reviews.
Oh my god.
Dear Lord.
That's terrifying.
Okay, only being angelic.
Okay, now you're just trying to scare people.
Hello there, Lydia. I am Angel Oni. I'm going to bring you happiness and love.
Oni, here's some whiskey.
Like, here's some whiskey. Please don't do that ever again.
Is this an 8th level of hell?
Yeah, let's not answer that question. I don't know how Liz is going to respond to this first article.
Oh dear. This is going to end well?
Yeah, you may want to hold off on that. Short Circuit.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, Short Circuit remake to get Latinx jolt from Spyglass Media Group. Spyglass Media Group has set a remake of the 1986 film Short Circuit, bringing on the writing team of Eduardo Cisneros and Jason Shunman to put a Latinx twist on the screenplay for the family film. Okay, can I just say, why does this need a remake? There's nothing wrong with that movie, and it's Johnny Five. What's not to like?
I mean, there are teeny bit of problems in that movie. Fisher Stevens as a stereotype in Indian, that was a little too much. But other than that, I have no problems with that movie. It was fine for the time. But I don't see why there's a point of remaking it. Why? And before you finish, I know you're going to say because fuck you, that's why.
I was going to just say because Hollywood just likes pouring out the classics.
You're both right.
Pretty much.
Excuse my language.
I've heard worse.
You're not wrong.
The original was directed by John Badham and starring Ali Sheedy. She was cute back then. Steven Gutenberg and Fisher Stevens in a comedy that centered around Number 5, an experimental military robot that is struck by lightning and gains a human-like intelligence. Raiden's like, Skynet, Skynet, Skynet.
Mm-hmm.
Project X Entertainment's James Vanderbilt. Oh, he was also the one that did the screenplay for Amazing Spider-Man. Paul Neinstein and William.
Oh.
Yeah, Paul and William Sharrock will produce, with Rehab Entertainment's John W. Hyde stepping back into his original role as executive producer alongside Teresa Kelton. Production prexy Peter Oilataguere. Apologies if mispronounced. And production Veep Christone will oversee for Spyglass. Cisneros co-wrote the Eugenio Derbez directed Instructions Not Included, with Cisneros and Schumann co-wrote the upcoming Half Brothers for Focus Features, starring Luis Gerardo Mendez, Connor Del Rio, and Juan Pablo Espinosa. Spyglass and Project X are currently in production on the relaunch of the Scream franchise. Ugh.
Oh no! Leave that franchise alone!
Somewhere Wes Craven is turning up in his grave.
Oh, he's doing backflips in his grave. Ugh.
With Radio Silence directing from an original script by James Vanderbilt and Guy Busick for worldwide distribution by Paramount and Spyglass on January 14, 2022. Cisneros and Schumann are both repped by attorney Alan Weinstein. Hope I said that. Yeah, Weinstein of McEwen Frankel, and Cisneros is managed by Carlos Bobadilla of Valor Entertainment Group. Schumann is repped by CAA and managed by John Huddle of Fourth Wall Management. Okay, now that we got the brass tacks of that, I have a few problems with this. I mean, why? Just why? I mean,
I feel like I answered my own question, but good lord.
My mindset is basically this. The original, timeless classic, yes, it's a product of its time with, as you mentioned, Fisher Stevens being a stereotype of an Indian character, but to be fair, he's not featured heavily in the first movie. He's more of a prominent character in the sequel, which that sequel is heavily underrated. I'm just gonna put this out there. Probably my favorite as well, although that scene where he's being hacked to pieces and then he radio controls the remote control planes, that gets to me even to this day. Why they say a Latin X thing? If I remember correctly, they're trying to have like a Latin gender neutral spin on it, and I'm like, what?
I'm sorry, what?
That's my understanding of it. I don't have a problem whatsoever with Latin characters coming in for this. Why they feel the necessity to inject social identity politics into a story that's a family, a family-friendly comedy about a robot that gains human intelligence, and basically Johnny Five gets a soul. He's basically a human robot, for lack of a better description, and you feel the need to sort of have that sort of overshadow. It's like, it's Johnny Five. He's a very naive entity that just wants to know what it is to feel human. The sort of things that we take for the everyday thing for granted. I mean, He wants to understand humor. He wants to understand sentiment. I don't think you need social identity politics for that. And there's this one article, actually it's a video that a woman posted on to social media saying, look, stop trying to inject woke politics into mainstream media because, believe it or not, most women don't like it. They just want to see a good story.
My thought exactly.
My stance is, if you happen to make a movie that is about social identity politics, where that is the theme and what have you, that's different. But if you try to put, say, identity politics into... Let's say they tried to put a spin on a future Jurassic Park movie and say, oh, no, you can't call this a male dinosaur. He's a gender-neutral T-Rex. You'd be like, it's a dinosaur. And also, most of the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park are female. So, I don't know. I'm trying to wrap my head around, as Oni would say, this stupid... I'm giving this a thumbs down on 2 counts. Number 1 is taking something that doesn't need to be remade. Now, granted, with modern day special and visual effects, sure, you could probably do the story in such a way that the original could not do. But via the same token, there was nothing wrong with the original movie nor its follow-up. You know, it's what an acquaintance of mine likes to call golden oldies. You know, they're of their time, but it's in a similar way like Back to the Future, Top Gun, and The Goonies. You can play that in any generation, and you're going to have people cheering for them every single time.
Exactly.
And the fact that they're, like I say, they want to put like a, as they say, a Latin X, which, by the way, Latinos and Latinas don't even like that, from what I understand.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
I'm going to give a thumbs down on that, only because it's pandering, and people don't like it. And Lids, in particular, folks, keep this in perspective. Lids, who, has Mexican ancestry in her family, she was appalled when they replaced John Connor with a Latina in Terminator Dark Fate. She says, I'm offended that you're trying to pander to me. She was not happy. I've rambled on long enough. Let's we'll start with you, considering, like I say, this is supposedly being targeted at your demographic. Your thoughts on the fact that, number 1, they're committing a sacrilege in taking something that was already fine the way it was, and second of all, the fact that they're doing pandering, tactics again.
Oh god, it's they won't learn from their mistakes. The fact, 1, you're remaking a classic, that's like automatically a thumbs down for me, because first of all, leave classics where they are. It's like, there's a reason why people are stale on remakes. Nobody wants to see them. I don't care how good they are. Either you make take a twist on a classic and make it your own, or don't do it at all. Nope. That's it. Second of all, yes, you are pandering to my race. I'm guessing that you're going to try to make Johnny Five a Latino, which, first of all, fuck you. Do not do that to Johnny Five. And second of all, you're pandering to my race by saying Latino X. I'm like, first of all, don't know what the fuck that means. Second of all, don't pander to my race if you're just going to give us stereotypes over and over again. I'm sorry, I'm guilty of making some kind of a stereotype. The difference is, I understand when they're stereotypes, and I back off when they're not funny. I understand that. You want to pander to my race again and again, then you don't understand our culture. let it go. Stop trying to play to everything that you think is what my race is. My race, my culture, not something for you to make a fucking dollar off of. There.
Raiden?
Mulligan, I don't give a fuck. Sorry.
Fair enough. Sir Stephen?
I think Sean Connery said it best.
Yep.
Hollywood, when are you gonna get it through your thick skull? Pandering to people will not get you the numbers that you want from the takings. And we've gotten to the point where we're just sick of you remaking the same beloved movies that we all love. Wake up.
Yep. Yep.
No wonder most of the cinema trends are going down the toilets.
And that was before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. So that's a huge thumbs down. Still on the subject of reboots, this is where some logic is actually going to come into play. The original Home Alone director thinks Disney Plus reboot is a waste of time. Amen. Home Alone director Christopher Columbus is baffled that Disney Plus are rebooting this holiday classic. A Home Alone reboot will seem borderline sacrilegious to some. It is. And that certainly sounds like an opinion of the original movie's director Chris Columbus, the man behind not only Home Alone, but also such classics as The Goonies, Gremlins, Gizmo Kaka, and Mrs. Doubtfire, classic, and the first two Harry Potter movies. Oh, I did not know that.
Yep.
Find it baffling that Disney would even bother to try to recapture the magic of this version, especially when it's still held so dear. I mean, this year is the 30th anniversary. Yeah, I'm gonna go revisit that movie again later. Nobody got in touch with me about it, and it's a waste of time as far as I'm concerned. What's the point? I'm a firm believer that you don't remake films that have had the longevity of Home Alone, as we've been saying this evening with Short Circuit. You're not going to create lightning in a bottle again. It's not going to happen. So why do it? It's like doing a paint-by-paint numbers of a version of a Disney animated film, a live-action version of that. Yeah, Disney, take note. Lion King. What's the point? It's been done. Do your own thing. Even if you fail miserably, at least you've come up with something original. Indeed, Home Alone has become a Christmas staple for many, with each attempt at a follow-up failing to live up to the charm of the first movie. Introducing 8-year-old Kevin McAllister, who is accidentally left behind when his family leaves for France. Home Alone follows Kevin as he must fight a pair of bumbling thieves determined to break into his house. The franchise has spawned 5 movies. We don't acknowledge anything past number 2. In total, all of diminishing quality. I rest my case. So it's difficult to argue with Chris Columbus' opinion that a reboot is a waste of time. Regardless, the Disney Plus reboot marches on. You're an idiot. And recently added several new cast members to the roster, including Keenan and Kel and Saturday Night Live alumni Kenan Thompson, along with Toy Story 4 voice actress Ali McKay and Archer and Rick and Morty star Chris Parnell.
Oh.
Huh.
Interesting.
The comedic trio previously announced cast members Archie Yates, Rob Delaney, and Ellie Kemper. Yates, who recently played the part of Yorkie in director Taika Waititi's Academy Award-winning nominated Jojo Rabbit, I've heard very interesting things about that, will be playing the neglected child who is left alone by his infuriatingly irresponsible parents to take on fully grown adult criminals by himself. Yates will reportedly be playing a new character rather than a rebooted version of Macaulay Culkin's Kevin McAllister. The plot of this fresh take on Home Alone has been described as being about a husband and wife who go to war with a young boy who has stolen something from them. This is sounding familiar already. So expect much the same as all the other movies in the franchise. The roles of Rob Delaney, whose previous credits include the hit show Catastrophe and R-rated comic book venture Deadpool 2, and Ellie Kemper, who is known for Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, are not yet known, but it's likely they will be playing the couple that Yates' heroic youngster must thwart. Home Alone is being directed by Dirty Grandpa's Dan Mazer, and also stars This Way Up and Living With Yourself star Eileen B., The Secret Life of Pets 2 actor Pete Holmes, Veeps Timothy Simons, and Mike Day, who co-wrote the script with fellow Saturday Night Live alum Streeter Seidel. What did your parents do to hate you so much they name you Streeter? I mean, that's like naming a princess in the royal family Eugenie. Oh wait, that actually happened.
Ooh.
Yeah, there was
Damn.
another royal wedding, I think about a year or two ago, and I forget the prince's name, who shows you how much I care. I was like, I'm hearing the princess's name, and do you take Princess Eugenie? And I'm like, what cruel parents you must have had. Ugh. Do you think this reboot is a waste of time, or is Home Alone in need of an update? Yes and no. Yes, the reboot is a waste of time, and no, it does not need an update. I mean, let me put this in an analogy that... Alright. Let's just say we are a potential movie studio and we're going around getting ideas, and we go to Raiden and say, oh, we're going to look to remake Friday starring Kevin Hart and Lil Wayne. He'd be like, get off my property right now.
No.
Don't make me go into a blood rage.
I could imagine him being like, sir, you have 2 minutes to get off my property now, or I shall unleash Shin.
Oh no.
Or another one that Liz can somewhat relate to. That'd be like, if a movie studio, TV studio went around now and said, we'd like to make a politically correct version of Cheech and Chong. You'd be like, what?
No, you don't do that. No. No.
Or in Steven's case, that'd be like if they came along and said, we'd like to remake Thunderbirds but with a feminist perspective. He'd be like, execute order 66. Although the Emperor in Thunderbirds, that'd be interesting.
That'd be terrifying.
But
Yeah.
But it's like I say, folks, nobody wants this. I mean, Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern, and Macaulay Culkin are the three cohesive ingredients that made that original movie what it is. It doesn't need a reboot. The only thing I would be in favor of is if they did a reunion movie where it's now Kevin's turn to be the father and accidentally left his kids behind, and then suddenly thinks, wait, this seems oddly familiar, like Home Alone, like father, like son. But to redo this completely, to steal a phrase from Raiden, mulligan. Nope, I don't want anything to do with this. This does not need a remake. It's a waste of time, kind of like what they're doing with Short Circuit. Mulligan, Sir Stephen, do as you must.
Are they really this out of ideas, or that they're just finding any old movie that was popular and just saying, let's remake it?
You do realize you just answered your own question.
Well, seriously, if Hollywood, if you want to get good movies, just find people who have good ideas. I mean, Kaiju Noir, Draco Azul. Seriously, look them up.
Yep.
And that's just me putting out there a suggestion. Am I wrong?
No.
No.
Raiden.
Like Mulligan, I ain't gonna waste time here. Like, Home Alone is definitely one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. So remake is just like the point. So like a Short Circuit, I don't give a fuck.
I think my 3 favorite Christmas movies, Home Alone being one, The Grinch being the other, but my top one, Batman Returns. That is a Christmas movie. Changed my mind.
Which version of The Grinch?
Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Not the one from 2 years ago. No, that doesn't exist. Last but never least, Madam President.
I mean, I said what I needed to say with the Short Circuit remake. Why the hell are we remaking Home Alone? Or are we trying to? Please no. Because first of all, Home Alone is actually one of my favorite Christmas movies. I watched that one, and I watched Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. I ignore the other ones because those don't exist.
No, they do not.
But yeah, why are we remaking this movie? Just leave it where it is. It's a classic. It's movies that need to stay where they are. They don't need to be remade. They don't need to be modernized. You can put it on at any time and you still understand what's going on. I mean, unless technology changes completely, it's like we understand the freaking motives of that film, of like having so many kids at one point. You can't keep track of at least one of them. That's understandable. Why? I keep asking that question. It's like, Hollywood, are you that bankrupt of ideas that you can't have to keep reaching into the well of classics that don't need to be freaking remade? No, no.
Yeah. I'm just reading some comments. Code92 says, well, Hollywood feels like they have to be on the right side of history. Good luck with that. Sean says, the sad thing is Johnny 5 could be done in the CGI remake, and they will. Thing is, though, the prop robot that they had for both Short Circuit 1 and 2, Johnny was fine. Although, it does make me... I do get a chuckle when after he think he's helping the Latino car thieves, when they say they're trying to do their jobs, and then he goes and ricks all the car stereos out, and then you see him rolling down one of the avenues and he's all spray painted up, and then he goes into the warehouse afterwards and he's just like repeating their mantra, goes, "As locos kick your ass, as locos kick your face, as locos kick your balls into outer space." In the ITV version, when they played it, they just had it shot to As locals kick your face, as locals kick your face, as locals kick your face into outer space. I'm like, what? It's like It's like ITV. I know when you're purposely censoring. It's not cool. And also, saying balls these days is like saying shoot or darn. It doesn't quite have the same edginess that it once did. And Sherm is in the audience. Hey, Raph. Let me use my previously unspoken mind powers to predict the outcome of this Home Alone reboot. It will be quickly forgotten and sent to the $5 bin alongside the Poltergeist remake at Walmart. No. Raph. $5 is too much. 30 cents would be better.
Mm-hmm.
He says, also, Thunderbirds already has a massive feminist bent, considering Lady Penelope was its coolest character. That was trying to recreate the sun by throwing another sun into the old one. I would never say Lady Penelope was a feminist character. She was just a strong
Character.
She was just a strong character that just happened to have a feminine perspective. Because there's a fine line between being feminine and a feminist. Feminist means you're just looking for equal treatment, whereas feminine just means, hey, I'm a lady, I'm working with it. Co92 says normies are not interested in original stuff. No comment. Dan says, speaking of reboots, there's something I've been meaning to ask. With the Warner siblings and Pinky and the Brain being the only returning characters in the Animaniacs reboot, do you think the exclusion of other characters will hurt the reboot? It depends on what they do, Dan. And also depends on what Spielberg wants to do, because since it was him that brought them back, animation.
I think the one character. I think one character I want to see back from Animaniacs is Aunt Slappy.
Okay.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Back at Slappy. Yes.
Yeah. And apparently, Freakazoid starred in the most recent episode of Teen Titans Go.
What?
What?
Interesting.
Yeah, that
gonna look
happened.
Okay, gonna look that up. Gonna look that up off air.
They even got the cop Cosgrove back as well. With the episode partially being written by writer and voice actor for Freakazoid Paul Rudd.
Huh. Interesting.
Okay. I'm going to check that out there. That sounds awesome.
Okay. This may come as a surprise, but apparently this happened this weekend. Iron Man 2 trends as people debate if it's better than Batman v Superman. In case you didn't think the internet was already divisive enough, Twitter has started debating whether Iron Man 2 or Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice is the better movie. In one corner, you have the Marvel Studios produced feature focusing on RDJ's Tony Stark, and the other, a Zack Snyder directed film pitting two of history's biggest comic book characters against each other. Critically speaking, Iron Man 2 finished much better than Dawn of Justice with a 72% certified fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Batman v Superman, on the other hand, has a paltry 28% rotten rating. Like we should take anything Rotten Tomatoes so seriously. Where the other movies are more competitive, however, is at the box office. In fact, the Snyder-directed feature grossed nearly $873 million worldwide, while Iron Man rating just under $624 million. Either way, fans have debated the quality of the movies so much. Iron Man 2 has become a trending topic on the micro-boggling service. Keep scrolling up to see what movie fiends are saying about the matchup. This one from Marvelous RDJ. Iron Man 2 has Tony Stark eating a donut inside of a donut. Your argument is invalid. I rewatched Iron Man 2 and it still holds up. Good movie, not great, but good. Wait a minute, there are people in the real world that think Batman v Superman is better than Iron Man 2? Them. BVS is better than Iron Man 2. Me, counterpoint. Iron Man 2's Tony Stark. The heart is Tony Stark. There will be no Iron Man 2 slander in this house. And suddenly Raiden becomes a little bit more alert. Oh, hey, Thor 2. People rip Iron Man 2 like Thor the Dark World doesn't exist. Ouch.
Ooh.
The only thing we would like to add to Iron Man 2 and Batman Superman discourse is Sam Rockwell. That's it. That's the tweet. To be fair to Sam Rockwell, damn fine actor. Iron Man 2 is better than Endgame because Tony and Nat were alive. Yes. Name one scene from Iron Man 2 that isn't iconic. Oh, wait. Hang on. I need to see this. There's obviously a... I do like that painting, to be fair. And also, show of hands, who wanted Stark's basement from, all 3 movies?
Yes.
Me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, you're a basement dweller. It's like, yeah, have you seen my basement? Computers, kitchen, awesome car. I mean, imagine like an underground, the ideal underground basement where Raiden has got a Mazda RX-8, a Ford Mustang, a Corvette, a Trans Am, and even a Dodge Challenger Hellcat. You'd be like, yeah, this is my basement. I'm never leaving. I don't know if I would go so much to say that Iron Man 2 was better than Batman v Superman. I'll say this much for Iron Man 2. I think from the perspective of storytelling and the payoff, it has a much more satisfying payoff than Batman v Superman, because the runtime for that movie, even without the extended cut, it was too long. Whereas with Iron Man 2, the pacing at the very least is consistent, and then you get to see with Tony Stark that there's a downside to being Iron Man. Quite a few downsides. His health and the fact that, he's spiraling out of control with the way he's acting because he doesn't come clean about the fact that, hey, I was dying. If he just said that from the get-go, he might have been able to get a bit more help, but Batman v Superman, 2-word review, beautiful mess. Visuals are great, cast are great, the story is all over the place. Also, I think we can all safely say that Jesse Eisenberg was, poorly miscast as Lex Luthor.
Oh, absolutely.
If they had gotten, struggling for this actor's name, Heisenberg.
Bryan Cranston.
If he had been Luthor, perfect.
I would have been sold. I don't care how.
Personally, I would love to see Mark Strong be Lex Luthor, because he has a history. He has a history of playing a lot of bad guys, including
the mob boss in Kick-Ass 2.
Yeah,
actually Kick-Ass, because remember he died.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also, I think there's a problem with that, considering the fact that now he's playing Dr. Savannah in the Shazam movies, so yeah, we can't do that.
Also, it has to be said, absolute badass in that movie as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
I don't know. I'd say Iron Man 2 was a little bit more watchable, but I think the reason Batman v Superman probably succeeds more, aside from the box office total, is that how many times in live action can you say that you've seen these two go head to head? Whereas, we've seen, by the time 2016 came and rolled around, we'd seen Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, Avengers, and Age of Ultron. You know, we'd already seen 5 movies that featured Iron Man. Whereas we'd never seen Batman take on Superman before in live action. So I don't know. I can't call that one. But I will agree, Iron Man, you know, eating a donut within a donut, that was one of those, whoa, donutception.
Like, sir, I ask you to exit the donut.
No. Now I'm getting a craving for donuts.
Thank goodness Krispy Kremes do home delivery. And someone goes, hey, someone tap him, he's drooling. I don't know how to call this one. Lids, have at it.
Were you people watching the same movies? Because I'm on the Iron Man side too, Iron Man 2 side of things, because Batman v Superman, I watched the climax of that movie and no. No, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say that right now. Iron Man 2 is better. That's it. Argument over. Boom.
So, Stephen?
Yeah, I'm indifferent. I'm indifferent to the whole thing. Both movies have some good points, but both have their flaws.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just on the fence about it.
Yeah, as you say, they have their good points, but excuse me, they also have their flaws as well. And I've noticed the problem with the Iron Man movies, as enjoyable as the sequels were, they're not as good as the first movie. But it's very rare when a sequel is. And any ones I can think of that are better than the sequels, Spider-Man 2 is one of them, and Ninja Turtles 2. But Iron Man 2 and 3, ugh. Especially 3, it's well documented. Let's not go down that again.
No.
No.
Raiden, do what you must.
Listen. Mulligan on BDS, Dawn of Justice or whatever. That movie could die in a fire for all I care. Iron Man 2, dope sequel, not as good as the first one. Comparison-wise, I think you compare it to, they both have their problems, but a lot of people go for Iron Man 2. That's what I'm sticking. There you go.
Reading some of the comments.
I like the one in Choma type.
I tried to ask Rotten Tomatoes its thoughts on Batman v Superman. All of it could do was lay there and rot because it was a Rotten Tomato. Get it? It's a pun. Zing. In 3, 2, 1. Shut up, Raph. Dan says, I don't think Batman v Superman was that bad. At least not the extended edition. To be fair, the extended edition offered better context for scenes, but 3 hours is still a big ask for any movie, even if it's something you enjoy. I mean, let's say Raiden gets a feature-length Fist of the North Star movie, but done to the art styles of either Madhouse or production IG. Really fitting, tribute and what have you. But then they turn around and say, oh, this movie's going to be 3 hours and 20 minutes long. He's not going to sit there for 3 hours and 20 minutes. It's like, bruh, I've got things to do. I have owls to dish out. Paul Feig, your daily one will be given soon. Just letting you know. But, you know, or let's say Sarah Michelle Gellar was convinced to come out of retirement for Buffy, which is polite talk for they paid me the money that I wanted, because let's be fair, she may have retired from the role, but if she was given, say, 70 million to say, come on, just one last time, okay. But then Liz finds out that her movie is going to be 2 hours and 50 minutes long. Is Liz going to sit in a cinema for that long for Buffy?
Yeah, even I won't sit 2 hours and I'm just gonna go watch the DVDs at home. At least I won't spend an hour in the movie theater doing this shit. Bye.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing if they're an extended edition, as Dan said, whereby you can get better context for the scenes and it's something that's like a reward for years down the line. Fine. But when you're in the cinema, I think anything past 2 hours 10 minutes, that's overkill. That's overkill. And if you look at movies like Back to the Future, for example, it rarely ever gets up to 2 hours. I mean, the most it does is 1 hour 50 minutes, which for the runtime it has, nothing overplays, nothing rushes. It's done to what it needs to be. And the same thing with Jurassic Park. 2 hours is all it needs. I think when a lot of these movies have a runtime of, say, 2 hours 30, 2 hours 40, or as Endgame did, 3 hours, you're padding for the sake of padding. I think realistically, if you could find an editor that could go through Endgame and say, really chew the fat out of it and just take out scenes that just, you know, really hold it back, I think realistically you could probably bring Endgame down to maybe 2 hours 20 minutes. That would have been more bearable. Read a couple of more comments. Co92 says simple solution, multiverse. Yeah, that too.
That works.
The Ultra Trekkie says good evening from Germany. Good evening, or guten Tag. And yeah, Iron Man 2 is a million times better than Batman v Superman. Trekkie says, I watched the extended version. I still thought the Iron Man 2 flaws and all were still more enjoyable than BVS. Star Trek 3, better than 1. I feel like that's a big...
I think he's saying Star Trek 2.
He says, yeah, Star Trek 2, better than 1. I feel like that's an unintentional Big Bang Theory reference as well. But then even Man of Steel was not that great of a movie. Man of Steel, I take it for what it is at face value. You know, they were trying to reintroduce Superman to a modern generation because, you know, let's call the brass tacks for what it is. Christopher Reeve is a tough act to follow. And I think for the most part, Man of Steel did what it was supposed to do. It was trying to be faithful, but not trying to mirror what Christopher Reeve did, because Chris was in a class all on his own. He made that character his own, and I think that's what Henry Cavill was trying to do. He was trying to cast his own shadow rather than stand in someone else's. Ko92 says, speaking of which, there's some people that want Warner Brothers AT&T to sell all of DC to another studio or company. They'd have to sell DC Comics as well, because Warner Brothers bought them wholesale decades ago.
Mm-hmm.
And Trekkie says, I really am afraid how the new version of Justice League will be bland, boring, people hating each other. Yeah, but why does the modern generation means everyone needs to hate each other, needs to be mistrustful of each other? Yeah, I don't get that either. I mean, because I've noticed this whenever you have like comic book team ups now, where one example, granted this is not modern, but Secret Wars from Spider-Man the Animated Series, when he enlists the help of Iron Man, the Fantastic Four. I'm sorry, I love the way Stan would say that. He was a treasure. And also enlisting the likes of Storm from X-Men, and they're all ganging up on each other. And it's just like, whoa, slow down. Although, one of the original idea, instead of bringing in, I think, the Fantastic Four, the original idea before then was to bring in Hulk and She-Hulk. But at the time, the Incredible Hulk animated series was being broadcast on UPN, so there were conflicting broadcast aspects that they couldn't work with, which is why the most expensive episode of Spider-Man the Animated Series was when he had a crossover with X-Men the Animated Series, because they were on different networks.
Not to mention the cast were all based in Canada.
Trekkie says, yeah, but why does Henry Cavill is a great actor. Given the right material, he can make these characters shine. I just think of the Man from U.N.C.L.E. I did hear that he did alright with that. I like the team-ups of the Arrowverse. No one is like, meh, I don't know these guys. I hate them. I think what annoyed me with Arrow after a while is, like, when it was, say, the second season in it, he still opens with, my name is Oliver Queen. I'm like, oh god, not this again. It's just like,
we get it, we know.
It's just season after season after season, he just evolves and just tries to do the right thing, but just end up acting like a whiny bitch. Sorry, every time. Also, the woman that should not be named that me and Liz hate.
yes. Trekkie's Kurt92 says, Trekkie, people wanted to see the Snyder Cut of Justice League. That was the reason behind the campaign. Fair enough. Yeah, like I say, I wouldn't never say that Iron Man 2 was necessarily better than Batman v Superman, because I think it's one of those, the styles are very different. Iron Man 2, I would say, is more of a human story, whereas Batman v Superman was clearly it was trying to be almost edgy for the sake of edgy. I mean, I like the fact that there were homages to The Dark Knight Returns, which, let's be frank, I would love to see that done as a live action adaptation. I know that we had a movie adaptation with Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and 2 by DC Animation, which those two are absolutely amazing movies, especially with Peter Weller as Batman. That is probably one of the best fits you're ever going to get with regards to stunt casting. But one of the rumor mills back in the day, I think this was, may have been the mid to late 90s, Warner Brothers were toying with the idea of doing Dark Knight Returns with Clint Eastwood as Batman.
Okay.
And to be
That would have been interesting.
because Eastwood would have been the right age at that point, because Bats in Dark Knight Returns is supposed to be about 56. And Eastwood, well, he would have been a little bit older than 56, but it's never stopped him. And it has to be said, that man continues to work. And I say, more power to him. He just keeps getting up to go to work. And I'm like, you carry on, sir. You carry on. But we know one actor, given the age he's at now, Warner Brothers, if you're going to tempt people to come back after certain people being kept on for your projects, just saying, if you really want us to tempt us in, 4 simple words: Michael Keaton, Batman Beyond. Come on, make it happen. He's at the right age now. Because... Yeah. I mean, let's say for the sake of discussion that we do have a time-traveling DeLorean. Let's say for the sake of discussion. Right now, like I say, Keaton is the right age to play retired Bruce Wayne. Do you know who would have been an ideal candidate to play Terry McGinnis? If you were to go back in time and bring this actor in his late teens, early 20s, Leonardo DiCaprio. He has the right...
Yeah.
He has the right mannerisms, the snark, and he would have been in the right age frame and what have you. Now, granted, this man is obviously drinking from the fountain of youth, because this guy does not age. Because if you look at him from Titanic to now, yeah, okay, you see certain differences, but it's like one of those... He kind of just looks like a slightly more distinguished elder brother, rather than like the parent and what have you. I mean, similar thing with Tobey Maguire. That boy does not age. That's who I would have gone with back in the day. Who would I go with today? I don't know. But as for the whole Amber Heard thing, I'm not going to get into it here. I have my thoughts and opinions about it, and it would likely get us kicked off of the live stream. And I'd rather not. I'd rather that not happen again.
Yeah, let's not.
Oh, and Raiden, to answer your question, we can actually broadcast on Twitch doing the stuff we do. We would just have to set it to a mature rating beforehand.
That's good.
Oh.
Which would explain why Oni has been on there for so long, because, lads, you know as well as I do, even when he's streaming, Oni is not PG.
Oh, absolutely not.
Nope.
Love him, but he's not.
Oh dear. I love that boy, don't get me wrong, but even if he was, given the allure of, say, can you be PG for a cookie, he wouldn't do it.
No.
He hates ketchup for some reason.
He does. He eats any kind of condiment, to be honest.
Onto something... I don't know how you'll react to this. I'm kind of on the fence with this. You might see differently. Sasha Banks keeps pushing for WWE Evolution 2. It's been more than 2 years since WWE hosted its first all-women pay-per-view, Evolution. Since then, the women of WWE have campaigned for over and over for a second Evolution show, but no announcement has arrived. Reigning SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks was asked about the show once again in a new interview with Digital Spy this week, and remained hopeful the event would return. It's something I absolutely want to happen again. It's just something that I think was so incredible for the women and for the fans that I don't understand why there hasn't been a second one yet. But it definitely can happen in the future, and whenever it does happen, I think it will be better than the first. Banks has previously pushed for a match at the event to be against WWE Hall of Famer Trish Stratus. The 7-time women's champion hasn't wrestled since SummerSlam 2019, where she lost to Charlotte Flair. Can I just say for that one, even though it was a great match, bullshit decision.
Amen.
I would lose my mind.
I'm mad about that to this day.
Cena says it was the right way. Mr. Cena, has Mr. McMahon given you a quadruple pay rise?
Well, half and half. That was because they have this really baseless thing that Charlotte's actually a draw, which honestly isn't really true.
And for the record, it should have been Alexa versus Trish. But again, what do I know?
My thoughts with regards to Charlotte is real simple. Very talented individual, not gonna lie, but overhyped as hell.
She isn't her dad. Let's be fair, she is not her dad.
Oh, no.
Nepotism.
Well, of course she's not her dad. First of all, her dad actually had better mic skills.
Woo!
Because he can style and profile. It's like every time I see her with a grand entrance, it feels forced to me. It really does.
Here's the thing, and this is something I think you can relate to, whether it be in wrestling, TV, radio, or even in video games. Charisma is not something you can learn. You can nurture it, you can improve it, but it's something that you're either born with or you're not. Now, for example, Chris Jericho, natural charisma. The Rock oozes charisma. Robert Downey Jr.
I mean, honestly... Oh, sorry. Continue. I have a point to make. After
Sure. Robert Downey Jr. Practically is like the godfather of charisma. Michael J. Fox, great charisma. Hulk Hogan, say what you will about him, the man has charisma. Eliza Dushku, that woman is snarky as hell, and I wouldn't mind having coffee with her. Know what I mean? Trying to think, someone else is good. Becky, Rebecca Quinn, absolutely amazing charisma for the women's division. AJ Lee, charisma.
Until it got annoying.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Trish, as we mentioned, Trish, practically, bringing charisma in. To be fair, it took her a while just for her to get comfortable with her character, but she got better to the point where it's like, nope, you're good now. Stick with it. Who's another one that was really good with charisma? Like I say, AJ Lee, Alexa Bliss.
Yes.
I mean, I have my reservations about the way her character has been represented, but before she went and did the aligning herself with the Fiend, let's call it for what it is, modern day Trish Stratus. Similar mannerisms, cadence, the way she handles herself. The only thing I would say is she's probably a little bit smaller than Trish, because Alexa's supposed to be about 5'3", whereas I think Trish is like 5'5", 5'6", give or take. They've all got charisma. Charlotte would have to buy charisma just to be able to compete with theirs. She, on the mic, is one of the blandest, most mundane, monotone superstars that I've seen since the first Carmella, that showed up in 2004 for the first Taboo Tuesday against Christy Hemme.
Oh.
And that woman's mic skills was awful. Get back onto the subject, and then we'll get to what Raiden's trying to get to. I would lose my mind, Banks told Devon Dudley on the Table Talk podcast. See what you guys did there. But honestly, there are so many people. I would love to have a match with anybody that I've not had a match with before. Banks versus Lita. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Well, that'd be interesting.
I'll tell you the match that we were robbed of before she left. AJ Lee versus Lita. People would have lost.
That would have been the setup would have been so good.
Trish Stratus was the top of the women's division of her time. She was the best. She was beautiful. She was athletic, and she inspired me. I have a bunch of her stuff. I remember going to the Eddie Guerrero tribute show, and she had this pink shirt on, and I saw that shirt at a store, and I was like, I need that shirt, because Trish had that shirt. Trish was always the one. When I finally got to meet her and work with her, I fell more in love with her. Yeah, Trish has that effect on people. She is the most amazing, beautiful human being I've ever met. Not only did she inspire me in the ring, she inspires me for what she does outside of the ring as well. Banks will take on Asuka at the Survivor Series event on November 22. Check out the full card for the show below. Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns, card subject to change. I was about to say card subject to change because it could change to Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns. Asuka versus Sasha. Asuka.
Slightly interested. Yeah, Asuka.
United States Champion Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn. Bobby's
gonna kill him.
I hate what they've done to Sammy. I really do.
Same.
Me too.
And also, dump that Intercontinental title belt design. Looks like trash.
Yeah, that's just...
Also, shave your beard, sir.
Yes. Raw Tag Team Champions.
Look like Dustin Diamond's ashamed cousin.
Ouch. The Raw Tag Champions, The New Day versus the SmackDown Tag Champions, the Street Profits. The winner, the fans.
Yeah.
Half mulligan since I like the Street Profits and still New Day. I don't know, that'll be interesting.
The Men's Survivor Series match. I'm not going to say Team Raw because that's been done and dusted. We'll say the Monday Night Warriors because that's more interesting. Keith Lee, AJ, Sheamus, Braun Strowman, and Riddle versus the Friday Night Soldiers, Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, King Corbin, Seth Rollins, and to be determined. Mulligan.
Yeah, I like half of them. I mean, I know Keith Lee is gonna kill us, especially what he did last year against Roman Reigns in the final two. Yeah, I'm Mulligan. I said it before, I say it again. I hate what they've done to Survivor Series all these years since 2016. Even though 2016 was the best one, but yeah, turning that shit into bragging rights 3.0, I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Like, I missed the time.
It was too heavy this year. It's not that as bad as it was a few years ago.
Yeah, I guess. I still say last year's Survivor Series build up between the NXT. I still say that shit was cringy as fuck to me.
Mhm.
Nah, but yeah, like I said, I miss the days when Survivor Series actually meant something. Actually had, rivalries. Hit the boiling point. Well, not really hit a boiling point to be exact. Say, hey, I don't like you, you don't like me. Instead of just making stuff boring, let's just get a couple of guys that also don't like each other and just fight it out. See who's better.
Why am I reminded of that?
Of course, like classic title matches. Of course.
Why am I
Survivor Series 02 when it had the debut of the Elimination Chamber. I mean, no disrespect to the new design of the chamber itself. I really like the older one.
Also, the way you're saying, let's get a bunch of guys that we don't like each other. I'm reminded of that scene from The Simpsons when they first introduced literally Lumpkin, hey you, let's fight. Them's fighting words. Blah, 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 blah. And they just duke it out in a bar. Women's Survivor Series elimination tag match. The Raw women, Nia Jax, you need to stop injuring people. Shayna Baszler, Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke, Lana versus versus the Friday Night Sweethearts, Bianca Belair, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, and to be determined. I don't give a fuck.
SmackDown. Sorry, the Raw Women's team is fucking weak. But yeah, I'm gonna say half mulligan because I kind of sort of like the women SmackDown, especially Bianca, who is easily one of the best athletes they have. Her versus Sasha is a gold mine, but old ass Vince doesn't realize that. But it is what it is.
Yeah, and I make jokes about Lana basically being Yamcha, but yeah, I don't like what they're doing with that poor woman, all because she's suffering from the quote trademark Brian Zane quoted saying, "the sins of Miro." Because yeah, that's the only reason that she's being put through so many tables. It's because married to Miro.
It's getting old. It
is.
It's really
I know.
old.
And also we have the Undertaker's, in air quotes, final farewell appearance.
Mulligan, god damn it! I am sick to death on how many times they're going to promote the Undertaker. Retire this motherfucker. Seriously, I'm sorry. I loved the guy when I was a kid, but have you seen how old the guy is? Stop it. Sorry. I'm just like I'm sick to death with that. Sorry, I can't take it anymore with that.
A lot of people have argued, particularly in the last 3 to 4 years, shouldn't Taker have gone out the same time as Shawn did at Mania 26? And
I know, bruh. I don't understand. It's like I feel like I think you said it before. I think and I'm gonna add something here. He has an unhealthy obsession. It's like, oh, this isn't right. I gotta do it again. This isn't right. I gotta do this again. It's like, how many times are you satisfied until your body's broken? Like, and despite Shawn coming back to retirement, so that shitty match you heard with Triple H facing us the Brothers of Destruction, a Super Showdown. But listen, it's at least it was one time.
yeah,
Taker doing it multiple times, it's sad. It's really sad.
now, this is where I'm going to be that guy. I mean, with regards to Shawn, people got on his case saying, how could you come out of retirement, this, that, and I simply said on Twitter about, it was about 3 years ago, I said, look me in the eye and tell me you wouldn't do a tag match if you were offered 10 million, because it's like, if you said no, it's like you're lying to me. Because let's say, for the sake of discussion, I was offered 10 million to face Oni in a tag team match. They'd be like, oh, you can't do it. It's like, I'm being offered 10 million, asshole. It's like, stuff your scruples. Anybody that's offered that amount of money and said, nah, I don't need it, with the way Shawn does his business enterprises, I mean, why else do you think he was doing movies for WWE films? Because when I saw him show up in a couple of these things, I'm like, Shawn, are you broke again? Because Shawn does not handle his money well.
No, he does not.
Like I say, when he came out of retirement for that, it was just like the one time. But yeah, that match was an absolute clusterfuck. But with Taker, I get where Raiden's coming from, but at the same time, if you have your final match where you're that happy, you've had the perfect ending. And to be fair, with what Taker did with AJ at Mania this year, I mean, we have seen, you know, cinematic matches before in wrestling, but never in WWE. That was something special with what they did with Taker and AJ, where Taker was able to be not only himself, the Phenom, but also the American badass. Something that we had been asking for since 2003. It's like, if it's just once more, it's like, come on, give us what we want. We want to see the American badass again. At Mania 36, we got our wish granted. He came back as the badass one last time, and then rode off into the sunset. And I think what will probably happen, either midway through the event or right at the end, Taker will come out and recant saying, "This is where it began, this is where it ends." And then finally close the curtain, because look, I think if he hadn't found that perfect ending that he'd been looking for so many years, sooner or later the doctors would have said, "No, we're not clearing you again." It's like, come on, how many more hip replacements do you have to have before you take the hint and say, stop, enough is enough? As for the article itself, with the idea of Sasha Banks versus Trish Stratus, gimme. I will endorse that. Heck, I will endorse it better if Sasha was to go up to Trish and say, "I will face you, but only if you agree to challenge me for the SmackDown Women's title."
Ooh.
Yeah. I've rambled on a lot more than long enough. Lids, your thoughts?
I mean, I'm kind of with agreement with Sasha. Like, I would like to see another version of Evolution 2. I mean, it's not going to happen considering the fact that as much as the women's revolution went on, it's just, yeah, it's dead in the water because Vince doesn't give a shit about his performers, much less female performers. So
unless your name is Charlotte or Ronda Rousey.
Exactly. Yeah, like, I would love to see Evolution 2. Hell, Oni's been wanting Evolution 2 since the first one, and he still hasn't gotten it, and it's kind of disappointing for him, but I would like to see it again, and I would love to see Trish versus Sasha. That would be fun, but I mean, a better fit would probably be Sasha versus Lita, but again, Trish versus Sasha would actually be good too, so again, I'm of two minds about it, but again, it'd be nice to see, but again, I don't see that happening.
Raiden? Oh goody. Discord's being Discord.
Yeah.
Okay. See if Raiden's really listening. Raiden, we got Tatiana Ali over here, and she's winking at you.
Where? What's going on?
Just testing to see if you're still here. What do you make about the idea of Sasha wanting to push for Evolution 2 and the fact that she wants Trish as her opponent?
Hey, listen, I respect Sasha for what she's done since coming to WWE. She's definitely one of those people that wants to create magic within the ring with legends. Fortunately, you get that with the Rarity because a certain old man is is very uninterested of the fact that, you know, people have a voice. You know, and unfortunately, as much as I love to see that, like Liz said, women's revolution is dead in the water thanks to him. Unless your name is not Charlotte, Becky Lynch, or his personal favorite, Ronda Rousey. If you don't, in his mind, if you don't have someone that can set box office records, a second iteration of something that was actually really good isn't gonna happen. As long as those three haven't returned yet, it ain't happening.
No.
So I still respect Sasha's decision though. And my point being with MJ basically mentioning Rock, Stone Cold, Hogan, RDJ, Michael J. Fox has charisma. Charlotte is basically built-in charisma, aka not as good. I mean, hell, you can say it a lot about the rest of the UC. I mean, of course, you get a lot of rarities, like for example, Roman Reigns returning and becoming the tribal chief. That's some good stuff. The sad part of it is, it's just an inkling of what you've gotten in the olden days. It's still going to continue as long as that guy's in power. But even though off air I didn't want to mention anything political based, the First Lady of Awesome did mention that now that Troy is almost out of power, let's just say Vince is in hot doo-doo. From Andrew Yang coming for his head to the Screen Actors Guild supporting Zelina Vega for her strength in not being able to give her stuff to WWE itself for her Twitch. Let's just say WWE's influence on mainstream America is dwindling, no matter what the naysayers say. So, Vince sold Buddy O'Pal. I'm just gonna say, you are absolutely fucked. End quote.
I pretty much said something similar on Twitter today, and even Facebook said, Vince, please retire. I think, the guy is not only out of touch, but he's just acting like a dictator. Although some would argue, minus the tater. Lid's got it. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Let's see. Something to fill the void until Raiden returns, because he's AFK. We are.
I think I got a you. Oh, sorry.
We do have another Sasha Banks article, but this does not concern wrestling.
Oh, I think I know.
Sasha Banks' character in The Mandalorian Season 2 finally confirmed. Star Wars fans have been wondering about who Sasha Banks was playing in The Mandalorian for months now. The Mandalorian Season 2 finally revealed who Sasha Banks is playing. The hit Disney Plus show is back with a brand new episode, which is full of Easter eggs and a major step forward with the Season 2 story arc. The first two episodes saw Din Djarin and the child meeting up with new characters and going on some side quests before being given a little bit of intel about where to find other Mandalorians. Episode 3, Chapter 11 does some more of this, but with a better source of information. There are spoilers for The Mandalorian Season 2 below, so read ahead at your own risk. Sasha Banks, aka Mercedes Varnado, is best known for her work as a professional wrestler in WWE. However, it looks like the Star Wars universe is going to change that. Fans have wondered for months who Banks was going to be playing, which only heightened when she was first shown in the trailer while wearing a robe. Speculation about being a possible Jedi or Rebels character, Sabine Wren, started to spread. As it turns out, Banks has a much different role in The Mandalorian Season 2. That's what fans initially thought. The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 3 reveals that Sasha Banks is actually playing a character named Koska Reeves, who is one of the 2 Mandalorian warriors working with Katie Sackhoff's character, Bo-Katan Kryze, who is from Rebels and the Clone Wars. Reeves can be observing Mando and the child at the beginning of the episode in the aforementioned robe, and then quickly disappearing. We next see her on the barge after the Mandalorian saved the child and Mando from a watery death. Mando is skeptical of Koska Reeves and Bo-Katan Kryze because they take off their helmets. He does not consider them to be true Mandalorians, and they reveal that Mando is actually following the out-of-date ancient ways. As for who Reeves is, it appears that she is a new Star Wars character, who we will likely learn a lot more about as she helps Bo-Katan locate Moff Gideon and the Darksaber, the Mandalorians who will be on the hunt for Gideon, while Gideon hunts for the child. Some believe that Moff Gideon wants the child to steal his force powers, which seems to make sense to most fan theories. Gideon already wields the Darksaber, so it could be easy to think that he would want more power from whatever species the child belongs to. With all roads leading to the Jedi, The Mandalorian Season 2 is about to get pretty interesting. Though every episode this season has been full of action and intrigue, next week's episode will likely be the tipping point for some major action to take place. Thankfully, we only have to wait one more weekend to see it all unfold. You will head over to the official Disney Plus website to stream the latest episode of The Mandalorian. So, for all intents and purposes, Sasha Banks is a Mandalorian. I'm alright with it. I mean, it's side work for her, to do when she's not in WWE, so, it's all good to me. Yeah, that's it. Liz?
I mean, it was a surprise. I mean, it makes sense that she's playing a totally new character. No disrespect to Sasha, aka Mercedes. She's wouldn't exactly fit as a existing Star Wars character. Like, if she had been Sabine Wren, I'm like, sure about that, because also there were rumors that she was going to be Ahsoka Tano. I'm like,
oh yeah,
she's missing the makeup, guys. Come on. But again, it's a nice surprise, and I'm glad that she's actually getting a kick out of being on The Mandalorian. And I mean, any work is no work at all, considering that the business hasn't exactly been great as of lately. And for being on a high budget Disney program, it's fine. It's fine. Like, I'm happy for her. Good job. It's like, congratulations.
So, Stephen?
I really need to check out The Mandalorian at some point. I've been meaning to, but it's just been slipping my mind along with other things. But really great to see that she's getting well received on The Mandalorian. Look forward to see where it goes from there.
Okay. This is another one of those. I don't know how you're going to react to this one. Sylvester Stallone joins the Suicide Squad. Hey yo! James Gunn is teaming back up with Sylvester Stallone by casting him in an undisclosed role for next year's The Suicide Squad. James Gunn has announced that Sylvester Stallone has been cast in a mystery role for the upcoming DC movie The Suicide Squad. Taking to Instagram, Gunn posted a photo of himself alongside Stallone, revealing to his followers that the famous Rocky and Rambo star will appear in the movie. Always love working with my friend, and our work today on the Suicide Squad was no exception. Despite Sly being an iconic movie star, most people still don't have any idea what an amazing actor this guy is. In an Instagram post of his own, Sylvester also addressed his casting with a message of support for Gunn. Working with this incredible director on this astounding project has made this an amazing year. I'm a very lucky man to be surrounded by such talent. The Suicide Squad is more of a reboot than a sequel to David Ayer's 2016 take on the movie, but there are some more returning characters. We know that Margot Robbie, Jai Courtney, Viola Davis, that woman is intimidating as Amanda Waller, and Joel Kinnaman will all be back. Meanwhile, new additions to the cast include Idris Elba, Bloodsport. Oh, he's not playing Deadshot. Oh, that's interesting.
Nope.
John Cena as the Peacemaker. Here come the John Cena memes. Peter Capaldi. Oh.
What?
Yeah, Peter Capaldi's in it as the Thinker. David Dastmalchian as Polka Dot Man, and Michael Rooker as the Savant. As of now, there's no word yet on which character Stallone could be playing in the movie. Deadline reports that there's speculation he could be the voice of King Shark, a shark-human hybrid supervillain played by Steve Agee. That seems possible as Agee is also playing the role of Belle Reeve, Penitentiary Warden John Economos. Of course, if Stallone's role in the Suicide Squad is a voice role, fans will certainly know it when they hear it as soon as the character speaks on screen. This won't be the first time Gunn and Stallone have worked together. In Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Stallone appeared as Stakar Ogord, a Ravager embroiled in a feud with Yondu. At the time, Gunn also expressed the importance of this role in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, noting that it was their plan to see more of Stallone in future MCU movies. It's still unclear if Stakar will have returned in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, but we'll find out soon enough, as Gunn will begin work on the anticipated sequel after he's finished with the Suicide Squad. Meanwhile, Stallone fans have gotten to see the legendary actor revisit some of his most famous roles in recent years. He reprised the role of Rocky Balboa in 2018's Creed 2 and has expressed some interest in making another Rocky movie. Okay, quick timeout. Stallone, don't get back in the ring again. Rocky 6 was your swan song. As that character is just like, no, leave it alone. You know, the way Rocky 6 ended, it ended perfectly for that character's in-ring career, because we all want to forget about Rocky 5. That movie can go die in a fire. Last year he played Rambo in the action thriller Rambo Last Blood and appeared in the third installment of the Escape Plan series. Stallone will also star in next year's Samaritan, a movie about a former superhero believed to be missing who is discovered by a young boy. Okay. It will release in theaters on June 4, 2021, and The Suicide Squad will be released on August 6, 2021. This news comes to us from Deadline. Stallone in Suicide Squad? I'm fine with that. Just another great talent coming into the thick of things, but as for another Rocky movie, stop yourself. Just no. Rocky 6 was 14 years ago. Let it be that. And also, don't get me wrong, the actor looks great for his age, but there's looking great, and then there's feeling great. And because I think Stallone was very late 50s, early 60s when he did Rocky 6. Actually, it's a good question. What age is Stallone? Because he's not that far behind Schwarzenegger. Stallone. Let's see. Sylvester Stallone. He's actually 74. Yes, Sly, don't get back in the ring. You know, come on, you're done. That's it. That's my tangent. Lids, your thoughts on the fact that Rocky's in the Suicide Squad?
I mean, that sounds pretty cool. Just I'm interested as to what role he's going to take on. I was already interested in the Suicide Squad, hearing that James Gunn was going to take over, and it wasn't going to be exactly a direct sequel to the wonderful original version of that.
The sarcasm is strong with this one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Like the cast itself, it's like I know half of these people are probably going to die in this movie, but okay, let's see where they go with this and what role he's going to play. I'm interested. Let's see where that go. If he's going to be voicing King Shark, I'm guessing he's getting some practice in voiceover work because currently he's revoicing John Rambo in Mortal Kombat Ultimate.
Nice.
I'm joking. He's doing that. So it's like, okay, if he's doing King Shark, cool. I'm like, whatever they're going to do is fine. But as in regards to him getting back in the ring as Rocky, I'm like, no, just no. Again, I'm interested. Let's see where this goes because again, I was interested before, and now I'm really interested now.
So, Stephen,
Quite an ensemble they've got going there. I was surprised when they said Peter Capaldi's going to be in there. So, being a Doctor Who fan, it would catch my attention. But Stallone, he's a well-known action star, so looking forward to see what he does with this role. As for Return to Rocky, why not have him, if they do another Rocky movie, and that's if, why not have him train somebody else to go in the ring? Kind of like the master shares his skills on to the next legend. But I digress.
Alrighty. Let's see. Raiden's back with us, I think. Is he?
Is he? Raiden, buddy?
Nope, apparently not.
Ground control to Major Raiden.
Nope. Okay, we'll take that as a no. Let's see. We're going back to Star Wars a moment.
Okay.
Yep. Do this right. Fox told George Lucas that his young Anakin Skywalker story would ruin Star Wars franchise. Fox did not think that a young Anakin Skywalker storyline into Star Wars prequels was a wise decision. You know, the box office receipts beg to differ. Fox warned George Lucas about telling the story of a young Anakin Skywalker in the Star Wars prequels. The studio reportedly told Lucas that including the young Anakin Skywalker storyline would ruin the franchise. Yeah, clearly they wouldn't see the sequel trilogy many years later. Jake Lloyd took on the role in 1999's The Phantom Menace, and fans weren't exactly happy with the entire movie at the time of its release, though Lucas never really seemed to care. Now that over 20 years have gone by, younger Star Wars fans are warming up to this prequel trilogy and the stories it told. In the upcoming second volume of the Star Wars Archives book, George Lucas talks about bringing his prequel ideas to Fox. You're going to destroy the franchise, you're going to destroy everything. Adding that he spoke to the Lucasfilm crew and said he was making a movie that nobody wants to see. After The Phantom Menace opened in the theaters and broke records, Lucas admitted that the movie would have been more marketable had he gone with a teenaged Anakin and an 18-year-old Padme Amidala. However, Lucas ultimately made the movie he wanted fans to have fans see. Lucas maintained that telling the younger Anakin Skywalker story was always his intention. For the Star Wars creator, he had to go back to the beginning to show the young Anakin before introducing the teenage version of the character. The fans' expectations had gotten way high, and that they wanted a film that was going to change their lives and be the second coming. You know I can't do that, it's just a movie and I can't say that. Now I gotta market it to a whole different audience. I tell the story. While a lot has changed since 1999, clearly movies haven't gone better, Star Wars fandom has just remained just as passionate, though the internet has helped to amplify that. I knew if I'd made Anakin 15 instead of 9 that it wouldn't have been more marketable. Says Lucas as he looks back. If I'd made the Queen 18 instead of 14, then it would have been more marketable, but that isn't the story. Lucas felt that the story as a whole would be more powerful if fans saw a younger Anakin leaving his mother as opposed to the opposite. In 1999, Lucas referred to Attack of the Clones as a love story, and a very contrived one at that, and noted the Revenge of the Sith was going to be very, very, very dark. He went on to make a prediction about the third installment of the prequel trilogy. People think of the Star Wars movies as happy movies. What they're going to do about a tragedy, I don't know. It will probably be the least successful of all Star Wars movies, but I know that. As it turned out, Lucas was a bit off about the way fans ended up liking about the prequels. However, that seems to be changing all of the time as new generations get into the franchise. You can head over to Tasken to get purchase information about the Star Wars archives. The book is up for pre-order and will be out on December 13. While I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, I don't agree with Fox whatsoever. I think George Lucas knew what he was doing, and that's a thing I notice now, particularly in the way movies are made now. It's almost as if the director is just there almost in name only. They're not allowed to make the movie they want to make. When you get people like Chris Nolan or Steven Spielberg, you don't even remotely think about walking up and say, oh no, do it this way, because then you get the look of death from them, as if to say, who's directing this movie?
Now you speak about Nolan. Going back, I did like his iteration of Bane.
What you gotta remember is Nolan likes to do things whereby it's plausible. It's something that could happen given the right time and development. And like I say, I think they made the right call, because if they had a Anakin Skywalker leaving his mother as a teenager, it's not as gut-wrenching, but because Jake Lloyd was about 8 or 9, in the way that Anakin was depicted at that time as this very prodigy tech gearhead wizard, it makes more sense, and it makes for a much more compelling story. And word on the wire is that at the time, this was the rumors that was floating around in 1999, so give people the credibility of 2020. People believed at the time in 1999 Jake Lloyd was the voice of Tails in Sonic Adventure.
Oh, Jesus.
And to be fair, he would have been at the right age, because, well, to say this as politely as possible, that's where his voice wouldn't have broken. Although the idea of Tails speaking with a very manly voice is like, okay, that's creepy, don't do that. But no, I think the prequels, well, minus episode 2, because even though that movie's still probably better than The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, from what I've been told, That's the only one of the prequels I don't really care for. But the prequels as a whole, they're not perfect, but they're definitely enjoyable, especially Episode 3. Again, not a huge Star Wars fan, but that's probably the ones that the Star Wars movie I will go back to here and there. And fair play for Lucas to sticking to his guns and saying, no, this is the story I want to tell. And it's weird, you know, we criticize Lucas for the way he made those movies and introducing Jar Jar, which was very culturally insensitive at the time. And if that was trying to be
about Jar Jar.
I'm reminded of comic book guy, oh Jar Jar, everyone hates you but me. Jar Jar is one of
Does Owlman like Jar Jar?
I don't know.
Don't want to know.
Yes. Jar Jar was culturally insensitive back then when the internet wasn't as busy, it wasn't as buzzing, and wasn't as overly sensitive. If Jar Jar,
Also, that CGI has not held up from him.
no.
Oh no, it is not.
If Jar Jar was being done today, oh sweet Lord above, they would have a field day. Yeah, those movies hold up well. I'm just rambling now. Let's go.
I'm sorry, Lucas, but you can't tell me that the fact that it. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. This is the first time I'm going to do this. I'm calling a mulligan because I don't give a shit about this. Cause come on.
All right. So, Stephen.
Well, for the one part, I can agree where Lucas is coming from, because although some of the prequel movies have story problems, we do see Anakin's story and how he became more influenced into the dark side, and eventually turning him into Darth Vader.
There's actually one.
And
Go on.
oh, sorry. I think the way he did it, and how it was expanded upon in other material such as comics, and most notably with the Clone Wars TV series, is how Anakin's growth as he got older throughout his experiences eventually led him into becoming Darth Vader.
One of the things I liked from back in the day, I don't know if this was one of the official movie teaser posters or somebody meant to do that as fan art. You see a picture of Jake Lloyd walking away from this wall, and then his shadow casts the silhouette of Vader, and I'm like, ooh, that's haunting.
I think I remember hearing about that. It might have been from a comic somewhere.
Someone did something similar at the time. This was probably like one of the very first like joke pictures or a meme. They had Eric Cartman drawn up as Anakin, but then have like the Cartman Vader silhouette from behind him. It's just like, okay, I see where the fans are going with on this one.
Yeah. I think I may have found it.
Oh.
That,
Ooh.
Yeah. Let's see.
Hmm.
Yeah. Let me just copy pasta. I mean, like I say, that's eerie.
And for Lucas taking a stand against Fox, that's something that a lot of directors need to do nowadays, because the corporate, whether it be Disney, Warner Brothers, or whatever other production companies are funding the movies, they always seem to have decisions that can end up ruining movies.
Yep.
And I'm just sick of them having that much control over a movie.
Yep. Yep. I get that. Did you manage to get most of that, Raiden, or do you need to be caught up to speed?
Just give me the full deets, and I'll come up with an opinion.
It's in the article from Movie Web where you see Jake Lloyd as Anakin, and it's basically what it amounts to is that Fox told George Lucas that the young Anakin Skywalker story would ruin the Star Wars franchise, when if anything, it actually helped it.
Okay. I was gonna give a mulligan to this, but I'll go to full voting. My answer is no. I don't think it ruined the franchise. At least it would. I mean, as much as I'm getting super annoyed with Star Wars prequels, I think it would work. I mean, like you, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, but stuff like this, it's interesting. I mean, if anything, with franchises I don't like, I do like a good story. So that would have been interesting. And my response, Fox, yeah, you still keep Family Guy and Simpsons on your lineup, and they're not. So what does that says about your credibility? Oh wait, you have none. So yeah, those my thoughts.
You might start to get a few Roxina vibes, because apparently Roman and Drew are exchanging comments / insults over social media. Roman Reigns responds to Drew McIntyre's surprise appearance on SmackDown. Drew made a surprise appearance on this week's Friday Night SmackDown, claiming that he would beat Randy Orton for the title on Monday and face Reigns at Survivor Series in the scheduled Champion v Champion match. Reigns scoffed at McIntyre, saying that nobody watches Raw or cares about what McIntyre is doing now that Reigns is back on SmackDown dominating as the Tribal Chief. Jey Uso ran in to challenge McIntyre, which, by the way, that segment was cringe, to a match and wound up losing, leading to another stare down between McIntyre and Reigns. The two continued their war of words on Twitter, with McIntyre stating, "Forging a legacy for myself, no family to open doors for me. First I beat Randy and reclaim my title, and then I'm coming for you, Roman." Reigns brushed him off once again. The whole family opening the doors thing is so played out, and it's just an unoriginal excuse. Free lesson for you, Drew. It's not about getting in the door, it's about owning the room, which you will never do while I'm around. Good luck on Monday. Wow. The arrogance is strong with this one. Reports of rain.
I'll admit it's a welcoming change.
Such a nice far cry from suffering succotash. Although, to be fair, he winked at the camera to say, yes, I know these are terrible. Reports of Reigns v McIntyre being the main event of Survivor Series popped up last month, but a later report stated that McIntyre had dropped the championship to Orton at Hell in a Cell so the two could have a higher profile match down the road, ideally WrestleMania. Triple H even went so far as to compare it to Rock v Austin at Steve Austin's WrestleMania trip.
No.
That's debatable.
Here's the thing. The only two that come close comparing to that rivalry, I would say, is Punk v Bryan. They were the Rock and Austin of this generation. Hearing that was a surprise, but I was very appreciative on such a high compliment, McIntyre said on Time in the Click podcast in October, while responding to Triple H's comment, Hunter, he's the one who brought me back to WWE. He's watched my entire career evolve and then devolve and then re-evolve in front of his eyes. So it's cool now at this stage that he can see me at such a level. I think the thing is to keep us on the path we're currently on. He continued, Roman keep doing what he's doing with it, with his new character and me finally being myself. Actually, I think it's more Roman being himself. Both of us are being ourselves now and keep developing these characters to get to the point where everybody knows them inside and out, and we can take them as far as we can possibly take them. And eventually, when we have that big match down the line, it can be that high level. Even if we did it sooner, it would still be a big match because, you know, Roman's been the standard bearer for the longest time. The past 8 years, he's been the top big dog, main eventing 4 WrestleManias in a row. Yes, don't remind us. But now but now he's taken this turn where he's basically saying, hey, I did all this stuff, look at me. Rather than the humble Roman we knew from the past, he's saying, I did it, no one else could do it. I think on the flip side, the way I've been going, I'm proving I can do it. I'm doing it, I'm going to do it. I think it's going to be an interesting clash of some chosen ones when it finally comes. Wow, snark is real. I'd like to see it as Roman versus Drew because, let's face it, we've seen Reigns versus Orton before and it's not fresh nor original. If anything, it's just bland. I'd say watch this space, but I got a feeling they may just go with safe and predictable and Drew gets something else for Survivor Series, but I'd like to think it will be Drew versus Reigns, and hopefully Drew will be the one to go over and not Reigns. The thing I'm noticing with Roman's character, it's coming from a natural place as opposed to what he's been trying to do before, where it just comes across as stiff and forced, whereas with this, he's not having to rehearse this is all natural. And he's one of those promo styles where he does minimal talking. And that's the biggest problem with a lot of WWE promos. It's too overly scripted. I mean, just look at any one of Triple H's promos. Yeah. And not counting the Triple H blooper promo I was doing at the end of the return of the Incredible Hulk. I caught poor Raiden off guard. Comparing the two of them to Rock and Austin, I wouldn't go that far. If anything, I'd say it's more like I don't know. It's more like Cena and Edge. If I had to make another comparison, because Rock and Austin is something you only see like every 15 to 20 years. If you go and look at Austin's last ever DVD, along with Rock's last ever DVD. Every generation you get one big star. Many moons ago it was Hulk Hogan. Currently it's Cena. But during the Attitude Era, we had two in Rock and Austin. But Austin was just that little bit bigger. If I had to put it down in terms of height, if Rock's popularity was 6'5", Austin's popularity was a 7-footer. I mean, Rock was close, but he wasn't stone cold. Yeah, that's where I stand with it. Lids, your thoughts?
I will admit, I am enjoying the stuff that they're doing with Roman, because again, it comes from a genuine place, and also the fact that he's got Paul Heyman in his corner, and he doesn't even need to say anything else. It's like Heyman isn't like Lesnar, where it's like he needs Heyman to talk for him. Roman doesn't need Heyman to talk for him. It's just that it builds on the character of the tribal chief, where it's like it's like this horse is like, and now who's literally earned his place at the head of the table. It works. And the fact that he's actually getting to be a little bit himself, not having to have this scripted, forced character on him. Where it's like, I'm the big good guy. No, this isn't what we want. What we want is for you to actually show your damn teeth. And he has. And it's like, it's actually working. And again, I would honestly like to see Drew versus Roman at Survivor Series. I know we're not going to get that because we need Randy Blandy to be simple and safe. When the reason you guys took risk is why Roman's a heel now. You actually took a risk and it worked. You won't do that with that because you need to keep Randy Orton as champion. Where it's like, no, you don't need that. You didn't even ask for it to begin with. So, no. I know this feels like my quote for the episode, but just no.
And it's one of the very few times in a Survivor Series pairing where we'll get heel versus heel champion.
Yeah, and that's not going to work. Can't really do that unless you have the proper heel.
I mean, we had that 4 years ago when you had The Miz versus Corbin. It's like, who do you boo more? You ask Oni the question, he goes, Mulligan, I hate them both. Oh, God. Raiden.
Look, I probably didn't want to say Mulligan, but I like what they're doing with Roman. The fact that they want to do Orton versus Roman, heel versus heel. I don't know. I've never been a fan of that. Like, do it right, that'll be good. But honestly, it's not it. This ain't it, Chief. It really isn't it. And Drew, hopefully winning, that would be cool. But honestly, I really don't like how they took the title off him. He was actually doing some good things with it, but I just wish he had more of a character like he did when he was in Impact. You know, because for me it was more genuine, more real. But now it's like he's back in the world of WWE where blandness is at an all time high. So honestly, I know I said a lot. I'm just like, meh. Simple as that. Meh.
Okay. Okay, on to the next one. Bear with me just a moment. Alright, this next one's gonna come to us. Yeah, I should have posted that sooner. That's my bad. But this next one, smiles galore. Actually, gonna. Yep. Power Rangers, the new Green Ranger will carry the team because, just to give a little bit of context before going in, apparently the new reboot movie is going to be in canon with the legacy of the TV series so far.
Whoa.
So think the X-Files movie being a continuation of the season that it connected from and then went into the next season. I'm at 0.
So am I?
Hang on.
Gotta wait through the ads.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready.
Let's.
Hang on. I'm trying to load it up. My phone's acting a little slow. All right. Let's see. I have to sit through an ad. Fuck you, Harry Potter ad. I'm not getting your ad.
You
All
have.
right, I'm ready.
You had to sit through Harry Potter. I had to sit through another Grammarly commercial. 3, 2, 1. It's morphin' time. Play.
What's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the name Tommy Oliver? Him as the White Ranger? Black Ranger from Dino Thunder?
No.
How about him as the iconic
I mean,
Green Ranger
maybe.
with his dragon flute? No matter which version
Yep.
you love, Tommy Oliver is the face of the Power Rangers, which is why we were all so bummed when he didn't make an appearance in So-So 2017 Power Rangers reboot. You might not have to wait much longer for that,
He did
though.
cameo.
because with Jonathan
Did he?
Anderson
Cameo along
taking the
with
reins
Amy Jo
and the
Johnson.
reboot in the works. Now's the
Yeah.
time to bring Tommy back. Jonathan and Whistle, if you're watching this video, we, the fans, have one request. Please bring Tommy Oliver back. With your reboot, this is the perfect opportunity to bring in the character we know and love. Think about all the fans whose day it will be made. Let me slow down here. It would be so darn cool to see that actual Green Ranger return to the big screen. But we have to ask ourselves, how? With a disappointing 2017 Power Rangers reboot, retelling that story again would be kinda stale. Well, much like Spider-Man and the character's reboot in 2017 Spider-Man Homecoming, we know it is possible to give a new version of the character without retelling their entire backstory for the 100th time. There are currently 28 seasons of Power Rangers, and the whole
that is
world
true.
knows that if they see 3 to 5 action heroes in very bright and colorful suits, then that's the Power Rangers. So if we're not going to do a full reboot, where do we start in Power Rangers
If it's
history?
a bunch of girls, they see the Sailor
Come
Scouts.
out to say that he
Or the
wants this new
Sailor
film to
Guardians,
connect
excuse me.
PW's current history and create somewhat of a cinematic universe. Also, with the idea of time travel looming in the air, there's a story from the comics that Entwistle can pull from that will also settle our one desire. Power Ranger fans, let me introduce you to the comic series Shattered Grid. Shattered Grid was an ambitious and very compelling comic series from Boom
Oh, yeah.
Studios following Lord Drakon.
Yes,
the
Boom
alternate
Studios.
timeline version of Tommy
Hey.
Oliver. As we know, in the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers timeline, Tommy broke free from Rita Repulsa's spell and joined the Rangers. In this alternate timeline, he didn't, and caused damage all throughout his universe. He defeated the Rangers, destroyed their Zords, and ruled the planet with an iron fist until he was defeated by main universe's Billy and Tommy. 2018 Shattered Grid picks up with Lord Drakon escaping prison, reuniting
And I
with
got
his
a
army
nab.
and taking aim at
Yep. Where you at?
Where you at?
218.
Oh,
18.
that's fine. Alright, I'm at 218.
Me too.
Okay. In 3, 2, 1, resume.
2018 Shattered Grid picks up with Lord Draken escaping prison, reuniting with his army and taking aim at not only his universe,
wow,
but the
those
multiverse.
eyes.
Due to his actions, the Morphin Grid fractured the timeline into pocket dimensions, and although eventually repaired, things were never the same. This sounds pretty amazing, and truth be told, Hasbro was in talks to bring this story to the big screen, but it never happened. So is now the time.
Ooh.
Yes, and
That's why we got
Man,
that
it's like
trailer.
this new film
I
to the
know.
already established television universe, this story verbatim might be too dark and gritty. We need something a bit more lighthearted to highlight the cheesy tone Power Rangers is known for. I didn't tell you about Shattered Grid for nothing though, because if we keep moving forward in the Boom Studio comic series, we have the perfect starting point for our rebooted film. Comic issue number 55. Right from the start, the Rangers and the planet are in trouble. Lord Zed is on the attack with his band of
Ooh.
Dark Rangers.
Behold, my Rangers!
Liam, no, no.
No, not those ones.
Not
No.
those ones,
That
but
was ugly.
these ones. They're led by a putty Rita Repulsa. With no other option as defeat
Okay, they
is
were cool,
imminent,
not gonna
Billy
lie.
calls headquarters
Yeah,
and
that's
tells
pretty cool.
Grace, who is Earth's OG Red Ranger, to initiate Protocol Green. She agrees, and you know who she goes to meet? That's right, an older and full of grit Lord Draken, aka Tommy. Grace offers him a second chance at redemption, and while we don't see his answer, moments later a new Green Ranger springs into action and makes quick work of Lord Zed, who vows to return with a vengeance. While we haven't received confirmation that the new Green Ranger is Draken, many fans believe so, which is very exciting. How will Draken interact and get along with the others? Adapting this to the films would be a perfect opportunity to tell this story
That'd be
and
pretty
bring
cool.
the Green Ranger back. It would also give us a great jumping off point to begin the film and lead us into the danger that lies ahead for our heroes.
That's how you reprogram a robot.
If
Just
Van
put in a
Wessel
disc.
does go the route of using the current
It was
line
the
of comics as
90s.
inspiration for his new film, then there are plenty of things to be excited
Whoa.
about. For one, we'll see the OG Rangers back in action, older, wiser, but in a very awkward situation. Imagine an old Tommy Oliver interacting with his younger self, as well as the teenage heroes with attitude. The Rangers aren't going to trust Draken at the start. The defeat of Lord Zed, or whoever the catalyst is that brings Draken out of his cell, isn't going to matter. Zordon disapproves, and the Rangers know all about Draken's past. At a flip of a hat, he could turn on them at any moment. That is fair, because we won't know what Draken's motivation is for assisting the Rangers. Also, Draken knows the Rangers like the back of his hand. So does he actually want a second chance, or is he waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike? I say a mix of both, because that makes for a great story. This version of Tommy is tyrannical and ruthless. Carrying what some would call a god complex, he absolutely hates his alternate self. He deems Tommy a weak and polluted shadow in comparison to himself. He's calculative, manipulative, and just because you're on his side doesn't mean you'll receive any kind of special treatment. In his world, failure means that you're going 6 feet under. Perfect qualities for our Rangers to
damn it,
deal
I got
with,
an ad.
but Draken
Ken?
does have
Name.
Alright,
I don't care about Candy Crush. Just leave me alone.
where are you at?
Okay, Tyson any sizes I might try. I don't know.
All right, I'm at 5:30.
Okay,
that's
hold
not,
up.
that's not too bad.
Alright, I'm there.
Okay,
Me too.
3, 2, 1. Resume.
qualities for our Rangers to deal with, but Draken does have one weakness that will either make him or break him: his lust for power. In the comics, the reason why Draken was so powerful was because he merged the powers of the White Tiger and Green Dragon power coins. It made him virtually unstoppable, and he believed that he was above every other Ranger due to his newfound power. However, in our film, when Draken returns, he will only have the Green Dragon power coin just like in the comic. This will play a huge role in the story, as Draken will begin to feel like he's not enough and needs more power to feel whole. Now he has another chance at that power, as Tommy is alive and well with the power of the White Tiger. As we said before, Draken hates everything Tommy represents, and will have to suppress every urge to not put Tommy in the ground. I believe over time, Draken
damn
will
it.
begin to realize
No.
the life he could have had if he
Has
took a
anyone
different
seen the
path.
double toasted
He'll begin
review
to
of
regret
Power
everything
Rangers,
he's
the
done.
movie?
It's
I
in the
haven't
comics
watched that
and
one,
reality.
no.
Even with his
Oh
crazy amount
my
of power,
God.
Tommy was always
Story
stronger
goes-
than Draken
story goes
because
on a
Tommy
rant
was
about
never
that shit.
alone. Slowly but surely, Draken will begin his transition to become the Tommy Oliver he was always meant to be. However, his past will come back to haunt him, as all good things must come to an end. So far, we've only mentioned how Draken and the Ranger team will fare in relation to each other, but we have yet to talk about the threat they're facing, or the impending consequences heading their way due to Draken's return. Alternate timeline Tommy may have won the fight,
Can I just
but
say,
Lord
seeing those
Zed
Dino
will win
Megazords
the war.
together was just amazing.
One thing I love about the Dark Rangers from the Boom comic line is that it's like the Power Rangers are fighting a monstrous version of themselves. Powered by the green Chaos Crystal, which is connected to the Morphin Grid, the Dark Rangers are just as powerful, if not more so, than their Ranger counterparts. We all saw how much the Rangers struggled taking on Zed's team of evil, which is why Protocol Green was activated in the first place. However, even with their immense power, Lord Zed failed in both comic issue 55 and in our What If reboot. And whose fault is that? Lord Draken's. If Draken never returned, then Zed would have had his way defeating the Rangers, and would have finally conquered Earth. So now, a defeated and embarrassed Zed needs more power, and that lust for it will lead him on a similar journey to Draken's. To transform himself into the ultimate Dark Ranger, Zed will use the Chaos Crystal to enter the multiverse, bringing on the events of Shattered Grid all over again. And just thinking about that happening, oh my goodness, I am hyped. We have so many possibilities.
What the
fuck? For Draken, despite the team's discomfort and
Fucking
Zordon's
Megazord.
wishes, he will have to stop and lead the
Really?
team because who knows the
I can't lie to you,
multiverse
that
better
was
than
that
him.
was kind of
However,
hilarious.
this mission would be like
Why
saying
is that a
as Rangers
thing?
journey the multiverse, Draken would see
Because it's the
destruction
internet.
Zed's
Anything
left
can
behind
happen.
in his quest for
Blame
power.
Billy for that.
No, for Draken,
Damn it,
this is the
Billy.
destruction he left behind, literally and metaphorically. Zed is only following in his footsteps, chasing a similar form of power to become Draken's Dark Ranger equivalent. We've talked about all the character development that would take place between Draken and the team, so no need to repeat that, but by the end of our movie, Draken will pretty much have to face and overcome his former self, which if done right, could be so poetic. Lord Draken, along with Lord Zed, would be no more, as Tommy Oliver is reborn. As for the fans, we would have so much to be excited about. By journeying into the multiverse and alternate timelines, this would allow us to see all our favorite Rangers of the past, like the Time Force Rangers, SPD, Hyperforce, or alternate versions of said Rangers. If the story went this route, who would you want to make their return? Personally, I would love to see the Mystic Force Rangers or even the Rangers from Ninja Storm. Again, with the film now connected to
Not
the
gonna lie,
already
Mystic
28 and
Force,
counting seasons of Power
I
Rangers,
still don't like
the
that season, but
possibilities
some
would
of the
be
Rangers,
endless.
especially
Also, the idea of the multiverse
Xander,
wouldn't just
was
stop
pretty
in this
fun to
film.
watch.
After Draken was stopped
I
in the
would've-
comic,
I
the
would've
Morphin
loved to
Grid and
see
multiverse
Wild
was
Force.
repaired. However, it was never the
Yeah,
same,
that
meaning
one
there
didn't
will
get
be
the-
repercussions
that
felt all
might be
across
a
Power
problem
Ranger
since the
history.
main
Yeah,
This could
with the
explode
red-
future
with the-
iterations in both film
Yeah,
and
the
TV,
Red
and open the
Ranger
door for
actor.
even more unique crossover
Aiden,
events.
is it time for
Do
Plan
you see
Danda?
why Shattered Point and current comic line from Boom Studios is the perfect story to adapt to the big screen? By going this route,
Okay,
we can have a
Dino
story
Knights, I'm
with the
kind of
perfect
I'm
blend
actually
of
looking forward to.
seriousness and cheesy
Yeah.
that was missed in the 2017 reboot.
Why you do that to
Gold
Goldar?
Rangers
Not
will
cool,
Let's
be
man.
not-
acclimated to a
talk
team
about
of
that
Power Rangers fans and love in the middle of
Hey,
their
Raiden's
Ranger
your favorite
career.
CG
Best of all,
Zords.
we get our Green Ranger
Oh,
back in a
easy as
fresh
those
and
words. I
exciting
love
new
those
way,
Zords.
featuring a story of
The
redemption,
2017
one where Tommy
CG
Oliver
wasn't too
overcomes his
bad.
demons and
Not
leads
gonna
the
lie.
Rangers to victory.
Yeah,
opening
but
the
you
door
did
to
Goldar
many
dirty,
new
man. Come
possibilities.
on.
We'll have to wait and see
Yeah,
if all our
sure.
Rangers' dreams come true. But until then, Jonathan Entwistle, we leave it all in your hands. Whether you call him Lord Dragon or Tommy Oliver, the Green Ranger is back. Are you excited about Jonathan?
That's interesting.
Lots to take away from that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about having a movie that's connecting up to basically nearly 30 years worth of Power Rangers continuity. I think if they did what the original movie did, where it's set in an alternate universe where, you know, Tommy is still Tommy, Rocky is still Rocky, and Kim is still Kim. Amy, how you doing? Amy Jo was an absolute sweetheart back then, and still is, but it's like Kaiju once said, "Dad midriff." And plus, Amy was, well, let's just call it for what it is. She was just smoking hot.
Mm-hmm.
Valley Girl done right. Had the tendencies, but Heart of Gold. That movie could have worked better simply because, well, if they didn't go up against Batman Forever at that time, well, you know how that plays out. It's still the same character.
I'll still say Forever wasn't actually too bad.
No. That movie was set in an alternate universe where the characters are still who they are, but it's not really following too much continuity from the TV series. So if they were to do something on those levels, it could work, but I think
it felt like it was just for movie purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean this was before multiverse theory came a full blown thing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if they would have did that, it would have made sense.
I just feel like with this, Viacom are going to be making a very bad decision to have a movie that's where fans are going to supposedly have knowledge of nearly 30 years worth of continuity. It's like, if it had been, say, 3 or 4 years, then fair enough. But we're talking nearly 3 decades worth. What kid today is going to be concerned about the history of, the very first season of Power Rangers? Because they'll look at the original series and go, this looks really tacky. Whereas for us, when we first saw it in 93, we thought it was absolutely amazing. I mean, now we look back and see the flaws and the warts that it has, but that in turn gives it personality. And yes, with that Dino team up where it's the Dino Charge Megazord with the Dino Thunder and the original, seeing the original Megazord in CG, my child self was doing cartwheels. I was like, yes. But I noticed that they were using stock footage from the first series of Power Rangers for the cockpit. They weren't using like anything new, but what's not broken, don't fix it.
I guess they had limitations in a sense, but I mean, Power Rangers are now owned by Hasbro now, so they want to keep things authentic but still do their own thing.
And also, it was so satisfying after nearly 20 years to see and hear Austin St. John again as the Red Ranger. It's like, that's the greatest Red Ranger of all time. And just to hear him say with such gusto, it's morphin' time, like he would do back in the day, it's like, whoa, shit, he's into this. Plus, I did like that nod in the 2017 movie where Dacker just looks to the camera and goes, it's morphin' time. Didn't quite have the same, gusto, but it was trying to play it more serious, whereas Austin St. John knows they're playing it for laughs, which was part of the fun of it. I'm of two minds. If they were able to get the surviving cast members of the original Power Rangers series, minus Trini, obviously, I'd be intrigued to see it. But at the same time, I'm someone who likes to think of themselves as a someone who sees things from a practical perspective. You're going to be looking to cater to a very specific and very limited audience, because people that grew up with the original Power Rangers, they've grown up and moved on. I mean, maybe you might get 1 or 2 kids that are into the original, purposely just to see what their parents were into. But I think you'd be much better off doing a fresh take, not as gritty and as oh so serious, pretentious as the 2017 movie was, but do it in a way whereby you do something similar to the original movie where it does take itself a tiny bit more seriously, but it knows when to lighten up, but just do it with a much better story and with CG that's not going to have us, you know, looking back in it with such lines as, oh good lord, that's CGI, that shit is still ugly.
Which one?
The first movie.
Woo! Oh god! Oh fuck that! Oh dude, listen. Despite the dope ass Power Rangers theme that they did for the movie, oh god, always going back watching that shit still ugly. That cockpit was ugly. That just the whole thing looked like a just giant blob, of CGI mess.
Is when I got onto reviewing the effects of that, when it goes, and let's talk about the CG Zords, shall we? And next you hear Ray goes, lol, that shit's rough.
Yeah.
Sean says you're not wrong about the CGI. Yeah. Rambled on too long. I'm 50-50 on it. That's all I'm gonna say. Lids, you're up.
I mean, it'd be interesting to see this. It just, again, that's depends on how they handle this from now on, because the current rebooted movie that they tried to do, that it was fine, but they kind of didn't stick the landing. Not sure if they're going to be able to pull it off, and if they do, more power to them. And interesting to see how if they do this, if this storyline plays out the way it does. If it doesn't, again, my hands are tied, so I don't know what's going to happen. So, be cool to see, though.
So, Steven?
Depends really where they want to go for this movie. So I'm not sure if the Green Ranger that is depicted at the end of issue 55 is actually Lord Draken or not. Because that's the whole mystery behind the next series of the Power Ranger comics, Mighty Morphin. So I think it's a bit early to suggest that the whole movie might be something akin to that. It's a good theory, but just need to keep our minds open to other possibilities.
Alright. Raiden?
As a massive fan of the series, like you, I'm very 50-50. You know, I don't know if they're gonna go with the whole Lord Draken thing, but I'm hoping they do something new with it. On the other hand, I don't trust Viacom. I do not trust Viacom for the life of me. Seriously, like, turned a lot of my favorite network shows into just blandness. Nickelodeon to Disney, aside from some rarities. So with this, Power Rangers involved, oh lord, they're gonna go over the top, and I don't know if I'm gonna like it. But like I said, as a massive fan of the series, I want to see where it goes. You know, I mean, the fact they use time travel on this, hopefully, I'm just hoping things go well. You know, because I do not want to see Power Rangers repeat their string of bad moves. You know, I want to see something successful.
Yep, I feel that. I think Steve's got something he wants to share, and let's be fair, I think after that we'll call it time for this week, because I'm slowly running on fumes at the moment. So yeah.
It's just a small YouTube. It's just a small YouTube poop, just to lighten up the mood after a few of the more downer topics this week.
Okay, what's the video in question?
Found the link, just pasting it in. It's by our old friend Hour of Poop.
Oh no!
I've seen this. This is absolutely amazing.
I've never seen this before.
Should I be worried?
Yes.
Poop, you tell me.
I go lie, I don't really watch that much YouTube hoops back in the day.
Neither do I.
so-
I've only seen a few.
Okay, oh no.
You might need to
Alright.
hold this up, though.
Oh god, just one of those type of videos.
Yep.
Alright.
0.
Through my better judgment, I'm at 0.
On my.
Mm-hmm. Let's.
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, play.
Oh! No!
Nice Christmas.
Thanks a lot. They've ruined Towns and Tank Engine for me.
And with no one to worry us.
You may grin, you two, but you wait till the families begin to come.
the hell?
You'll know what Christmas means before very long.
Nearly time for our favorite TV program, eh, Gromit?
Oh, there's someone at the door, Gromit.
Hello, Mr. Wallace.
Okay, what the fuck?
My friend, Mr. Laurel.
We haven't tasted food
Oh, and
for
Hardy, what the
3
hell?
whole days.
Oh, won't you come in, lads? No need to be sheepish. I'm sure that we can get you some bacon. With bacon, of course. Any beans? No.
I can't lie to you, I haven't seen these two since the Scooby-Doo movies.
Nothing to see there.
Yuletide
Okay.
greetings.
What?
Laura Croft, what the shit?
This is an honor.
Whatever.
What the hell is going on? Oh!
Not anymore. But would
Man,
you like to come this way and inspect? You're most kind.
Why are you inviting this person into your house?
What the hell?
Basil.
Okay.
Greg? Morton Greg? Merlin?
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Gee, this is certainly nice of you.
This is a rocking
David,
Christmas.
David
Okay,
Jones?
David Jones? Is that
Lovely.
Gregory Peck? What's he doing here?
What the fuck? I'll give you one.
What?
Yeah.
Oh. Happy birthday! I remember.
John Candy?
But it's not even my birthday.
Oh, sure, you know, it's Christmas time.
It's a delightful residence.
Why is Uncle Buck here?
Not gonna lie, a couple years back, I was never aware he was dead. No lie.
Oh, that's sad. Oh! Okay.
So much as scowl at Stan or any other guy in this house, and I hear about it, I'm coming looking for you. Move it! Go on, get out!
Poor Gromit. What did he do?
Grub will soon be ready, lads. But I don't think... Oh. You think of the
Okay.
Help yourself, no.
Oh dear. Can't be as difficult.
What is happening? Oh!
Oh god!
No! Why did you shoot him?
Come on!
Huh?
Yes.
What the hell? Oh my god! Come here!
No! No!
Let's see what's on the box.
Oh, they fly on down! They fly on
Why are we watching Star Wars? Oh, why?
I saw it! And it scared the shit out of me. It scared the shit out of every man in America! I had to put up with
What word?
Here's another one.
I got away from the bullshit.
Mother bear.
Okay.
Just wait for it.
Oh, what? I didn't know. Oh my god.
What the fuck? What is it? What the fuck did I just watch? What was that? What the? What? I have
The
no
answer
words.
is yes.
What the hell? Oh my god.
No, I don't know anymore.
Oh god. I've seen that one before, but good lord, it goes to places. And the thing that I'm really amazed by, in particular from Hour of P, I'm not saying the full title because YouTube gets a little bit funny if you mention certain words and what have you, so we're not going to go there. No, it's just the way it is, dude. It's just the way it is. You don't even notice like little imperfections the way the characters have been cut out and placed into there, because when you look at Tom Hanks, it's almost as if it's been professionally done on a chroma key screen. It almost looks as though he's actually in that scene and not copied and refined into that particular scene. Especially when you see Thomas, you know, sticking through the wall, it actually looks like he's there and not superimposed. You know, that's a talent and some really, really good editing software. I've seen his stuff before, and it's always worth a look. And I think that's, you know, where we'll call it time here, because I'm running off of reserves. Yeah.
Seems like a fun way. Seems like a good way to end it with a laugh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Until next week, I have been the Knight, saying good night from the night.
Good night.
See y'all later.
Make sure to wear a mask, wash your hands, and just don't be a dick to others.
Don't be an idiot. Don't be an idiot. Or a Karen.
Oh no, especially them. Especially with their bland ass potato salad.
Oh god.
We're glad you had fun tonight, folks. Stay safe.